Now let's go ahead and look at the graph of a cosine function. It's going to work out pretty much the same way that a sine function did. So the main difference here is that since we're dealing with cosine, we know that on the unit circle, cosine is just equal to the x values, that adjacent side, over the hypotenuse of 1. Other than that, the process is effectively going to be the same. So we're going to travel from 0 to 2 pi, and that's just kind of the nature of a circle. Once we've traveled one full revolution, everything's going to repeat itself. And so we know our start and end are just going to be at 0 and 2 pi. I want to take a moment here to mention the fact that when I say start and end, I mean the start and end of one period. There are an infinite number of these that we can do. It extends from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity. I'm just picking an easy start and end point of one period so that I can get an idea of what my graph is going to look like. For a cosine graph, things are going to look a little bit different. But first, let's go ahead and just graph out our quarter marks. Just like sine, we hit important values at 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and then back at 2 pi again. Unlike sine, when I'm at 0 with cosine, I'm actually up at 1 or up at my amplitude. And then when I get to pi over 2, I'm at 0 or I'm at the middle. And then when I get to pi, my halfway point, I'm actually down 1 amplitude from the middle. And 3/4 of the way through, I hit the middle again. And when I get to one full revolution, I'm back where I started, up 1 amplitude above the middle. Once again, I know that cosine is just going to be in between -1 and 1. Again, it's a unit circle, so the farthest that I can be from the middle is 1. However, in this case, I hit those values at different moments. I am going to go ahead and graph out the curve here. Again, don't mind my somewhat mediocre skills. Again, I should maybe put some arrows here. It does extend and it just repeats itself if you just copied that and shifted it over. So now let's go ahead and kind of come up with those different pieces here. So one period is again 2 pi, that's when it starts to repeat itself, one time around the circle. We do hit different values at different moments. However, the middle is still at y equals 0. That should be pretty clear from here. 0 is right in between -1 and +1. I'll add the -1 in here as well. But in this case, we hit the middle at different moments. We actually hit the middle in this case at our 1/4 and 3/4 marks. In addition, we also hit 1 amplitude above and 1 amplitude below at different moments as well. In this case, the amplitude is still 1, but we actually hit 1 amplitude above at the start and the end. And then we hit 1 amplitude below at the middle or halfway point. And that's pretty much it. That's a cosine graph. In later videos, we'll see how we can transform it by stretching the amplitude or speeding it up, slowing it down, or by shifting it to the left or right. But for now, you at least have a good idea of what the fundamentals are when dealing with a sine or cosine graph.